Like, do you really want to go your whole life without seeing what your mind is capable of?
Stop making excuses. Simple as that.
Fear, it's a construct of the mind in the first place.
Be fucking fearless. Let the fear of regret fuel you to take action.
What do champions not have that I have? It's what do they lack? And it's an off button. They just don't stop. Everything in their life is geared towards one goal.
Any human realizes that if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it.
If you can understand that it is irrelevant what people gossip, it is irrelevant what they say, it is irrelevant if they laugh, it is irrelevant if they talk shit, and you understand that the only thing is relevant is what you do, you're going to succeed.
You're not just competing against people who want the same things that you want. You are competing against people who have no other choice but to get the thing that you want.
If my life was a movie and someone were to watch it, I hope they'd be inspired to take risks, not just risks to achieve success, but embrace feeling, both pride and shame, fear and excitement. Personally, I want to experience as much life as possible, and that only happens when you embrace the highs and the lows.
Feeling vulnerable is letting go of your ego, letting go of that tightness, letting go of that ability to protect yourself at all costs from any kind of hurt. You want to fail in life, you want adversity. Failing in life is the best education that can ever happen to you. And failing in life is a deep wound, but it teaches you very valuable lessons. So if you go through life where I don't want to ever feel hurt, I don't ever want to feel criticized or to fail, you're never going to learn, you're never going to succeed, you're never going to be powerful.
Voluntarily undertaken responsibility isn't a burden, it's an opportunity, right? That doesn't mean it's not easy, but easy, like I don't know what easy is. What's easy? Pointless misery? That's not easy. Like, so I guess the reason you pick up your cross and walk uphill is because that's the best thing you can do, all things considered.
When you said, I'm all in, were you really all in? Let me tell you what the cost of being all in is. Early mornings, late nights, being misunderstood, having very few friends, being your own cheerleader. Are you those things? People always talk about, I'm a hard worker. Everybody in this room is a hard worker. That's not going to separate you from anybody else. What are you working hard on?
If you really want to be great at something, it definitely doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year or two. And even if you're having a great season or you're having a career year, there's still so much more room to continue to improve. You know, it's still much more room for you to continue with the process of becoming great. The time and the commitment that you give to yourself, into your body, into your craft, into your mind, those things will take care of itself. And if it's meant for you to have, then it's meant for you to have. And if it's not, if you've done all those things leading up to it and it still didn't happen, you sleep better at night. You're okay with yourself because you gave your body, your mind, your soul, everything that you could ever ask for.
Being great right now, bro. How do you want to be remembered? You know you're meant for more, bro. You see, there's a difference between choices and decisions. Choices means you get to pick. You don't have a choice right now. You have to decide to be great. You have to decide to leave behind a legacy that's worth following. Get the fuck up. Nobody cares how you feel. Put the work in. And leave behind that legacy for them.
Life isn't fair. It's not supposed to be. It's a fight for your peace, your focus, and your future. You don't get to cruise through it. You earn your breakthroughs. You either face the pain or let it own you. That voice in your head telling you to stop, it's lying. So no, it's not easy. But the only way you lose is if you quit.
The things we do in the invisible when no one's watching make all the difference in the world. No matter where you are in life, you know that there's something more, there's something bigger. If you continue to do the same thing, you'll continue to get the same results. There's no other way to look at it. How many opportunities have you missed because you sat on the sidelines?
What I see today is that everything's possible in this world for those who don't quit on themselves or their dreams, to reach higher and higher with our dreams, to become more ridiculous with our dreams. because they're all possible.
Every time you have a thought, you're telling yourself a story that's going to decide, are you having a great day? Are you moving forward? Are you making progress? Or are you convincing your own mind that things are not going well, that things are bad, and you've got things going against you? Every thought you're in control of. And when you're in control of your thoughts, you can change your story at a moment. You can change what you say so you stop hypnotizing yourself to be negative and start promoting your mind so you get the results that you want. Everything you say to yourself is going to be a reaction to what you're telling your mind.
Whatever you say to yourself and believe over and over again, you start to believe as a reality. You start to walk it and talk it and act it. So what you say is, I am unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I don't care what it is, I'm unstoppable. Nothing will stop me. The greatest of all qualities to guarantee success is the absolute willingness to go at anything and refuse to stop until you achieve it.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for. Every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses. You can make a million excuses why you didn't work out this morning. You can make a million excuses why you didn't get that raise, why you didn't take that leap of faith. You can make a million excuses, but you know deep down inside, and consciousness is eating away at you, that it's an excuse. It's not a reason, it's an excuse. Stop making excuses. And when you stop making excuses, the only alternative is then results. You will have periods of defeat. But that defeat will be temporary and not permanent, because you will dust yourself off, get back up, and try again.
So what's the story you're telling yourself from the day you wake up and all through the day till the night? Just because things don't go your way doesn't mean you can't change the story or learn a lesson from what's happening. Tell yourself the story and the results that you want. Convince yourself that things are always going your way, even when they aren't, and you'll find the direction and you'll find the answer to get the results that you're looking for and that you need. Convince yourself that the stories that you're convincing yourself of are positive and not negative. And the stories and the events and the feelings you get will create the results that you want.
You want to be on your deathbed looking back at your life saying, I just didn't try. It's unfortunate when things don't work out. It's unfortunate when things don't go the way you planned. But if you try as hard as you possibly can and things just don't go your way, that's still a life that you can hang your hat on. But to live a full life of mediocrity, of apathy, of not trying, of always opting for comfort and convenience instead of doing what is right, doing what is best for you and your family, is not just something that you can't hang your hat on. It is something that you should be ashamed of, something you should be embarrassed about.
What if you don't accomplish your goals? What if you don't do anything different? What if you just make a long list of things that you would like to do, but you don't?
Respect is earned through results. Respect is earned through commitment, through effort, through doing what you say you're going to do, and displaying that through everything in your life.
Just so we're all clear, some of the best lessons that you will ever learn, some of the best lessons that I will ever learn, will come from the most pain, the most frustration, and the darkest moments.
But who are you on those fucking days when all hell's broke loose? Your body's fucked up. You're sore. You're depressed. You're miserable. Who are you on those days when shit's all fucked up? That's the great divide. Those people who get up on those days when everything's fucked up and still grind, that's the separator right there.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself, which means you have to discipline your behavior.
Self-discipline is the center of all material success. You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
So if you want to have a conviction for something, you have to sign up to be inconvenienced. We're trying to find convictions and passion and breakthrough on the inside of our box. Well, when you realize that the box doesn't even exist, everything is possible. What if you do? What if the God that we call God, the divine, whatever your faith is, what if there's no partial? It's not going to give me a hookup and not give you one. It's not going to give me an opportunity and not give you one. I'm just going to go after it. If I die, I'm down the treadmill, like Wilson said. I'm going to be on the treadmill running. You know, I'm just not going to stop because I believe all things are available to us. I'm just willing to go after them. Are you willing? And then that is so disruptive because then you got to make a decision.
Being grateful is such a powerful thing. And it's hard to be angry or upset when you're living in gratitude. It's hard to be frustrated, mad, or resentful, or any negative energy when you're coming from a place of gratitude. But when we are guarded or put on a persona or we try to look perfect all the time, we get caught in perfection prison. And we are trapped by this perfectionism, this approach, which also holds us back from ever launching something, from ever putting something out there, putting our music, our art, because it needs to be perfect. And so a lot of people don't create or put it out there because it's not ready. It's never ready for them.
People have a tendency to care more about what other people are thinking about them than what their soul is. And so they live from, what is so-and-so going to think of me? What's my mother going to think of me? What's the society going to think of me? Living in a paradigm of scarcity and lack, you tear people down. If you're living in a paradigm of abundance and opulence, there's enough for everybody, you cheer people on. So your success makes me happy.
You're trying to do four things. You're trying to protect, prove, hide, defend. If you wake up every day and say, I have nothing to protect, I have nothing to prove, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to defend. Now, who do I choose to be? See, we're not supposed to tuck our dreams in on the pillow when we get up in the morning. We're not supposed to leave them at home and go and fulfill somebody else's dream. We're not supposed to do that. That's not what we're wired to do. That's not who we are. Your human spirit doesn't care about the economy. The human spirit doesn't care what's happened to your family. The human spirit doesn't care about the past, or your family may have been broke, or you may have been betrayed, or you may have a divorce. Your human spirit doesn't care about any of that. Your human spirit simply says, what's our command for tomorrow?
There's two voices that we all have. There's a first voice that tells you the next step, and it can only tell you the next step. So this first voice, that voice that we hear in our body, what will I also become if I'm willing to make a mess? But also it's my calling, it's something in me that says, I need to do this. So that's the first voice. But we've trained ourselves to ignore this voice and listen to the second voice that I believe is a collection of the average society.
It starts with a willingness to persist long after it's boring. It starts with the ability to think about those people that you really want to serve when you're scared and have no idea how you're going to pull it off. But you chose to believe that you could do it. You chose to believe that. And because you chose to believe that, you were able to achieve excellence.
And inside, everyone has a destiny. Bright, beautiful destiny. The soul is calling us to be great beings, to be great lights, to live fully. And oftentimes people will dim their light in order to fit into someone else's paradigm and end up with crisis, end up with disease, end up with prolonged sadness.
not keeping score, your brain is keeping score. Because your brain is designed to keep you safe. So you have to be willing to play between your brain and your soul. And on some days, you gotta just listen to your soul.
To recognize that it doesn't have to be pinned to some great external thing that happens, because a lot of times these external things that happen, there's so much buildup, and when they happen, there's that moment, but then there's also the letdown that comes at the end of it because you've been working towards this, singularly focused on it, and then there's this lull that comes. Really, so much of what's available to us just happens in the quiet, in-between moments.
The ones you get out of your mind or become aware that people are going to talk about you either way. And at the end of the day, you are different because you went for it. That you going for it actually brings out latent powers and gifts and talents within you that can't come to bloom unless you go for it.
One way or another, we got to get to that state where we just really love our lives, love each other, and enjoy this thing. You know, so many people are living in a hell. Like, this beautiful world is hell for them. They're suffering. No matter where they go, they got to bring themselves with them. And if you're that person, it doesn't matter. It's hell anyways. Like, let it burn. But when you love it, and really love it, then it's a different thing.
I believe you are purpose. I believe you are purpose. You're created for a purpose. Like, we know the statistics, it's like a 0% chance of you being you. You are that. So when you operate from there, it gives you that confidence that I am that. It's not something I'll search for. You can take your life wherever you want to take it.
When you're going for a goal, it's not just achieving the goal. It's actually who are you becoming. And then when you're becoming, you have a different vibration.
So it is crucially important that we do enjoy ourselves. We've got to. Otherwise, like, what's our motivation? What's our motivation to do anything if we don't love it?
Time does not align with that thought, right? Time is a scarcity. Right? If we think in terms of time, a man-made construct, by the way, we only have so much time. I'll be happy when I graduate. I'll be happy when I get my first job. It goes on and on. And guess what? When you attach your happiness to an outcome based on time, that time will never come. You need to, in order to be happy, enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit, pursuit of your potential. That's happiness. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And you got to know what your potential is. What do you want? You need to consistently, every day, persistently, without quit, enjoy that pursuit. Why consistency? I think consistency is the most important thing, because consistency elevates your awareness. What's the lesson? Don't limit your point of entry. Consistently, persistently pursue your potential and enjoy it. That's all I did.
And so there has to be this point in your life where what you want is so much greater than where you are. You're in such discomfort. In other words, the gap between what you're dreaming of, what you're destined to do, what you're capable of, you're aware of it compared to where you are. That tension between the two has a pull power to it, right? I really believe that at the end of your life, you're gonna get introduced to the person you could have been, you were destined to be, that he made you to be. And so I'm chasing that dude. Every day I'm chasing that dude. That's the pull power for me. I took the comfortable road. The comfortable road will never lead you to the person you were destined to be, ever in your life. And so if you don't become obsessed with chasing that person, you end up never meeting them.
Put an unfair pressure on people to have a vision, right? And I think that's true. We're not all Steve Jobs, and we don't all have big world-changing visions, to your point. I do believe, however, you can find a vision, right? In other words, it doesn't have to be yours. It can be someone else's. We found Martin Luther King.
We found Mahatma Gandhi, we found Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, the visionaries. And people go, I love his vision. Right? You don't have to have a vision, but I do believe you have to find one.
Some of y'all have a habit of dreaming within your bank account. Some of your thoughts and visions are so big and so outlandish and so powerful and amazing, you'll end up talking yourself out of that dream from saying, I can't afford that. I came here to remind you that when people laugh at your visions and ideas, it's only because they don't have their own visions and ideas around what they're supposed to do with their life or their careers. People that don't have any dreams for themselves, they tend to be dream killers. People that don't have their own visions, they become vision killers. They want nothing more than to talk you out of your own visions. They don't have dreams for themselves. They don't have any hopes. But I want to remind you to continue to dream and dream big.
So at any time, if you feel happy or unhappy, miserable, joyful, ecstatic, in a state of agony, doesn't matter what happens, what is your experience, pleasantness or unpleasantness, just to know that it's happening from within, and it can only happen from within. You can either take external stimuli or you can create your own stimuli, but essentially it happens from within. This one thing, if it is not grasped, when you feel miserable, if you think it's this one, you're gone. It's not going to work. This one basic fundamental thing is something that almost 90% of the humanity is always doing it wrong. Whenever they feel miserable, they think it must be this one or that one or that one or that one. No, all human experience is generated from within. The harder you try, the further away from it you go. First thing is to bring balance. Once there is balance, then you can build a tower on top of this.
So many of us are operating on patterns where we're trying to get needs met through other people that we have to focus inward first. We have to be able to fulfill ourselves, meet our own needs authentically before I can then authentically present them to another person.
The world doesn't need another perfect person. The world needs you. And you're trying your best. You're doing what you can. And, you know, I think it's really important that you cut yourself a break and that you stop thinking that you have to be perfect. There are going to be days where you feel so underwater, and that's okay. You'll get through it. You'll figure it out. And you've got to understand that it's not about being perfect. It's about just being you.
The mind's like, I want to be in charge of you. I don't want you to be in charge of me. So it tells you, let's just stop right here. But once you start breaking through that barrier and start breaking down that governor that you've put in your mind, because we forget we are in control of our mind. We believe it's the other way around. No, we put in our minds what we should do. We have to reprogram it and tell us, no, we're good. We're good, we got, this sucks, but it's okay.
there's going to be things that come along that flatten you so hard you won't believe it. And you're not happy then. And so if life is to be happy, well, in those situations, what are you doing? Why even live? But life isn't to be happy. If you're happy, you're bloody fortunate, and you should enjoy it. You should, because it's the grace of God, so to speak. With regards to meaning, we'll have a choice. Choice number one, nothing you do means anything. The alternative is, everything you do matters. Really. If you make a mistake, it's a real mistake. If you betray someone, you tilt the world a little more sharply towards evil rather than good. It matters what you do. Well, if you buy that, then you can have a meaningful life.
I want people not to be afraid to be themselves, no matter what circumstances they're in. Your situation doesn't define who you are. You define who you are. Our lives is about feeling good, not about just who we are, about just feeling good about everything is supposed to feel right.
Mindset I'm defining as what's possible in your life, right? Think about the area that you're not making progress in, and mindset is the set of assumptions and attitudes we have around something, around how the world works, especially what we believe is possible, what we believe we're capable of, what we believe we deserve.
If you're suffering, you are obligated, in a sense, to hold on to whatever rope someone throws you. Don't sacrifice your stability. Assuming you want to get better, there's usually something you could figure out that would constitute a step towards some sort of concrete goal. Small, accruing gains that repeat are unbelievably powerful. You can look at your life and you can see what isn't right about it. All you have to do is look. And then you can start to fix that. And the way you fix it is by noticing what you could, in fact, fix.
Luck is a part of all of our lives to a certain degree, both good fortune and bad. But by definition, you don't have control over luck. And your habits also matter. And I think that the reason they're so worthwhile to focus on and understand is that they are the portion of your life that you can influence that also determines your outcomes. It's not just luck, it's not just habits, but one of those you have control over.
There's a difference between knowing something and walking it in your heart, in your body. And so what keeps us from mastery sometimes is this idea that, oh, I know this already. You know, go get to the other stuff that you're really holding back. But it's the fundamentals that the masters get really good at. And if you ask yourself, how come I can never do this, or how come I can never be this person, or how come I can't earn this money, your brain's gonna find evidence to support that. If you knew how truly powerful your mind was, you wouldn't say or think something you didn't want to be true.
Because we see things so often in front of us the way that it should be done, and it imposes a kind of barrier through what people know and see, a familiarity. But maybe you can change something within you that can be just outside a new set of axioms, some new skill set that will take you further.
Your outcomes in life are often a lagging measure of your habits. A lot of the time people talk about, I want to have more money, or I want to lose weight, or I want some kind of result. But the truth is, your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning and reading habits. And so it's actually, we think the thing that needs to change is the bank account or the test score or the number on the scale, but actually the thing that needs to change are the habits that precede those outcomes.
Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life.
Mindset is the area of possibility. The mindset really is the what and the who you are. They say the two most powerful words in the English language are the shortest, I am. Because whatever you put after that is is your life, is your destiny.
It means responsibility. It means that the decisions you make are important. It means that when you do something wrong, it's wrong. Well, do you want that?
Is the first thing that keeps us from doing something is the mindset we don't deserve it, or it's not possible, right? The second force that keeps us stuck, which is your motivation. And motivation for me is not something where you get really excited. I believe there's a formula for sustainable motivation, and it's these three things. This is the formula to be motivated. It's reasons times energy times small, simple steps.
But usually when you get what you thought you wanted, the fire goes away. So if there's anything, just find joy in what you do for the sake of it. And then recognize how you're being shaped in the process, and hopefully you become a better man through it.
Every action you take is kind of like a vote for the type of person you want to become. You can master the right actions, if you can master the right habits, then you can start to cast votes for this new identity, this desired person that you want to be. It's kind of like true behavior change is really identity change, because once you've changed that internal story, it's way easier to show up each day.
Happiness is a side effect. It's not a thing in itself. It's something that comes upon you. It's like an act of grace in some sense. You cannot will yourself to be happy. The most effective means of pursuing the good life, which is not the same as pursuing happiness, is to adopt something like a stance of maximum responsibility.
You have to have the truth to have a starting point.
If you want to know what makes people happy, write down progress equals happiness. Think about it. You can achieve everything in the world and still go, is this all there is? You can achieve something and be excited, but for how long? The only way you stay happy and excited is to keep growing.
It's like life is hard. It's a crucifixion. That's right. And so it's no wonder they think that. It's like, okay, fine. First of all, we're going to take it seriously. Yeah, you're suffering and adrift, and you have your reasons. Despite that, there's more to you than you think. And you know that too.
Once you come face to face with who you are, you have a starting point. All right, I'm not real smart. I have no courage. I have no self-esteem. I have no nothing. Nothing. That's my starting point. Now we can move from there. But if I tell myself I'm strong, I have courage, I'm smart, and all these are lies, you continuously push that starting point backwards. So that starting point is the truth.
Progress is everything. If you're making progress on your body, progress in your mind, progress in your emotion, you're gonna feel happy. When you get there, you feel excited, but again, for how long? A year? No. Because we're not made to just sit and, be successful. We're made to grow. We're made to, and as we grow, we have something to give.
We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished. Rest at the end, not in the middle. And I took that to heart.
You envisioned something, you got clear about it, and then you started thinking about all the reasons why you wanted it.
your being is limited and flawed and fragile, this immense potential, but constrained in this tiny little living space. But the fact that you have limitations means that the plot of your life is the overcoming of those limitations, and that if you didn't have limitations, well, there wouldn't be a plot, and maybe there would be no life. And so that's part of the reason why perhaps you have to accept the fact that you're flawed and insufficient, and live with it and consider it a precondition for being.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers, your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, when you're going through death, real life shit. You're alone, but there's 24 hours in a day when you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
Courage is also physical. Again, courage does not mean you're not afraid. Courage means you're afraid, but you do it anyway.
I don't know what the limits are. It's like if you were the best person you could be. Truly, if you decided to live by truth and to aim at the good, and you really did that, you put your whole heart and soul into it, like that's what you were staking your life on, because you're staking your life on something. Who the hell could you be?
Great ideas are never going to interrupt you. They have to be pursued. And if you don't pursue them, you're going to get what everybody else has, which is all this fear, all this uncertainty, all this stuff that won't work, because everybody's focused on what won't work, what can't happen. Why? Because they're afraid. They're afraid to fail. They're afraid to try and feel like they're not enough. So you got to stand guard that mind by feeding your mind.
You have a certain amount of potential within your grasp. You may find what you have contemptible, because you're not in a position of power. This modicum of possibility that's been granted to you is beneath you. And so you do nothing with it. And so you get nothing from it. You take that seriously. You do the small things you can, the humble things that you can to put yourself together, tiny, embarrassing ways that are real. And if you do that enough, you'll fortify yourself.
You're not a manager of your life, you're a creator of your life. How do you create your life? You get hungry for something, don't you?
Life's one big head game. You play with yourself. If you lose, it's because you allow life to get in your head.
You know perfectly well you could be far more than you are, and you don't know what the upper limit of that is.
You cannot get to the mountaintop without taking a few missteps. Ask yourself, what's the opportunity from the failure, and get in the game, because when you get to the last hour of your last day, it will not be the failures you regret, it'll be all the risks you didn't take.
When you push beyond what's comfortable, it develops this determination inside you, this sense of will.
You can decide that you're going to stand up to life. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. You have the power to make that decision.
You decided there's something you wanted so bad that you unleashed all your desire. You became obsessed with it.
There's a famous formula, which I'm sure you heard of, E plus R equals O, where E is the event, something happens to you, R is your reaction, and O is the outcome. And the only thing that matters is your reaction to whatever comes up. Because you know, in life, in business, stuff's going to come up at some point. You just don't know what it is. And it's all about your reaction, how you deal with that.
So to me, the biggest thing is the humility was such a factor. I didn't realize how big of a deal that was, how much that worked for me. Is like, I don't believe I'm as great as I know I am. Like, my logical side knows that I'm up to something, but I just don't internalize it. I won't let it penetrate my soul. I think I have the ability to be the biggest deal, but I will never believe it.
I believe anyone can change. It's never too late to change, and you can actually use the things in your past, use the darkness you can redeem it.
Every experience that comes your way is a tool. When we lost our home and we had to go live with my grandparents, I understood that these are just material things, that doesn't define you. It doesn't make you. So when you get these challenges, when you have these things that come up in your life, continue to move forward. Baby steps. Baby steps. Become intentional about what it is that you're going to do. Nobody in your family may have done that. Nobody in your community, your city, your country may have done that. But if that's what's been put here for you, take it in baby steps. Begin to see how that you're going to move forward. It's exactly what I did once I came and understood my purpose and I understood what it is that I was supposed to be doing. I sat down and created a plan as to how I was going to go about deploying that. And I think that's what you really have to do, and take it in baby steps. Don't try to do the whole thing at once. Sit it down, look at it, break it down, rebuild it, put it back together, and then assign time frames to everything that you want to accomplish and break it down in phases, and then focus everything you have on that phase.
You know, we're obsessed about this idea about every one of us has a talent, but the truth is that we are multi-talented. And if I compare myself facet to facet to facet, there is always someone who has different energy, who's better at this, who's better at that. But what makes me valuable is the combination of what I have. I don't have to compare myself. In fact, if I compare myself, that's the surest way to depression. I promise, if you want to try.
When you don't know where you're going in life, do not look 4 years down the line. Do not look 2 years or a year. You look next week, next month. You keep your goals short, and that way as you accomplish those goals, then you can start piling up little trophies or little moments to know that you're actually accomplishing something. You're actually climbing the steps to success. Where people make the mistake in their goals, but a goal that doesn't allow them to qualify success quick enough. And so I always tell people, shorten your goals, shorten your window, and that's how you find your voice. You cannot find your voice if you're trying to, if you say, I'm coming to Hollywood to be a star. But if you come in here just to be a star in entertainment, or you're going to college and you're trying to graduate in 4 years and what you're going to do, it confuses people. That's why a lot of today's millennials, they see short-term success as a faster way of finding their voice versus a college degree.
Those with the greatest hope have the greatest influence. And I love that. Like, there are two kinds of people in the world. There are people in the world that think the world is getting better, and there are people that think the world is getting worse. Who do you want to hang out with?
And then you assign the time frames. I think the time frames, the timelines are the critical piece to it, because that's where so many people go from just having a hobby or a dream. And I'm sure many people understand that dreams are tough, because without a time frame, a timeline, they may just stay dreams. When you assign a time frame and a plan of action to it, it can become a goal, and then it can become attainable. And I think that's what you have to do, makes it very present then. You have your work cut out for you, you know what you need to do, and now it's just about doing it.
Let's come out of this leading into humility and gratitude, and that will be the springboard to everything we want. You know, just be grateful. Like, grateful for the time you're spending with family now, grateful for the innovation time, the thinking time, gratitude and humility.
If you want to be great, the burning sensation is you
having to accept that you've fucked something up, not as far along in the journey as you want to be, and what you have to learn how to do. If you want to be great, you have to learn to let it burn. And even though your impulse is going to be to turn away from that, to not look at it, to soothe it by saying it's them, it's their fault, they fucked it up, I grew up in the wrong place, like whatever excuse you use to try to let yourself off the hook for not being where you want to be, instead of saying, actually, the power is the ability to let it burn.
Not only is it possible, that's probably the best time to do it. When circumstances and situations are pressing in upon us, the only way we can overcome them is to go within, to actually begin to ask very empowering questions with the awareness that this universal presence and its law will answer any question that you ask. So if you're in a situation that is pressing on you and you ask, what's trying to emerge in my life? What is my gift to share? What is my purpose? Why am I here on the planet? Not just how can I pay my rent, not just how can I stop the pain. You ask empowering questions, the universe will answer these questions in a language and in a way that you can understand.
What is it? What is the one power that you have right now in this moment that can change everything? You have it, I have it, we all have it. This one singular individual power that can change anything in our life, regardless of what's happened to us.
I want to find more. All I can. And in that sack of you have to dive in that to find more. Because if you're not willing to go in there and face yourself, I can find anything. You can live right here on surface, man, right here on surface. So if there is an ending to this world and there is somewhere to go and there's a judgment, you're gonna get there and you might see a chart. And that chart may tell you who you should have been. And now you get the rest of your life to think about that. Man, I could have lived a much better life if I just would have just suffered a little bit more.
Whatever your answer is, you can do it right now, today, starting today, right? It's still possible. You can start doing that right now. It's empowering the present with the future. There is nothing stopping you from making it happen right now. You don't have to feel that way when you're 70. You don't have to feel that way when you're 80. You never ever have to feel that way if you start doing it right now. And you can do it right now. Even if it feels impossible, you can start working on it right now. You can start trying right now. You can start making plans right now because you're not there yet.
We create our own reality. So that will be true for me. I'm saying you're gonna come out the other side of this and you will be unstoppable. Your back's against the wall. You got work to do, like, let's go.
If you want to make a change, you have to change your vision of who you are. You have to begin telling yourself a different narrative. And the narrative you tell yourself about yourself is everything.
It is far more fun to die on your sword than to die on someone else's.
I always have this belief, if you want to be successful at anything in life, never leave the sight of setting a goal without doing something that commits you to fulfillment.
Be able to go inside of your own soul and remember why you came to earth. You did not come to walk lockstep in the status quo. You did not come to just adapt to how you've been imprinted. You have come to transform your life, wake up again and remember your soul call, and then be of service with effluence, generosity, giving as your inquiry every single day, and you will discover by law, the universe by law will bring you your assignments every single day.
Adopt the mode of authentic being. And that is something like refusing to participate in the lie, in deception in the lie, to orient your speech as much as you can towards the truth, and to take responsibility for your own life and perhaps also for the lives of other people. And there's something about that that's meaningful and responsible and noble, but also serves to mitigate the very suffering that produces, say, the nihilism or the escape into the arms of totalitarians to begin with.
The hunger that doesn't go away, that hunger to be more, to do more, to give more, that hunger that never ends.
Look, when you start deciding that it's time to change, you may have to use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 5,000 times a day, because you're pushing through self-doubt, and you're pushing through procrastination, and you're pushing through resignation, and you're pushing through fear over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you push through everything that's stopping you right now, because this is your year, this is the moment that you're going to change. At some point, something's going to click, and the momentum's going to kick in, and suddenly, change isn't going to be scary. Change is going to be what's happening.
Stop judging yourself through the lens of a moment and start judging yourself through the lens of 10 years. If you think of yourself in 10-year increments, like, you will blow your mind. So if you're embarrassed today about where you are, don't compare yourself even to yesterday, which may not soothe that and encourage you to push forward. Think back 10 years. But if you think back to where you were 10 years, chances are, like, you're gonna be blown away with how far you come. And so then it's like, all right, then I'm just gonna focus my gaze 10 years in the future and start saying, what would I have to do to be somewhere where I'd be blown away than where I'm at now? The pride that I'm going to establish is actually around my willingness to look at the fact that I'm not good right now today.